Hi guys, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show as I take you through all of the new releases that came into store this week, hitting the racks on the 23rd of February. Just before I jump into this, of course, just a quick reminder about the Declan Shelvey signing that we have this Saturday, the 26th. It's going to be from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. It's going to be a free signing. Bring your own stuff. As I say, it's completely free. We will have loads of stuff on the day as well if you want to pick anything up. So I'll probably do a separate video elsewhere on that. But just to take you through what's in this week, it's a collection of some new releases this week. It's us topping up some older titles. It's also a case of topping up some stuff based on feedback we get from customers. So we had a lot of requests in the last week or two for Star Wars stuff, for example. So we wanted to make sure we got plenty in. So, you can see here just looking straight away, these are all Star Wars graphics. We have multiples of each one of them in. But, we kick things off with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple. This was a 5-issue miniseries written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Paolo Villanelli. We've got Star Wars High Republic, The Heart of Drengir. This is Cavan Scott's High Republic universe that he's continuing on with, so it's the second volume of that. We have Star Wars Dr. Aphra, Fortune and Fate. So this is from Alyssa Wong and Marika Cresta, and that collects the first 5 issues of that volume. We have Star Wars Allegiance. This was the mini-series set between the events of The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker as well. That was a 4-issue mini from Ethan Sachs and Luke Ross. We have Star Wars Age of Rebellion Heroes, which focuses on Lando, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia. Then we have the current Star Wars run as well. This is being done by Charles Soule, and this is the first 5 issues of this as well. So plenty of volumes of Star Wars in, so plenty to choose from. Next up, we have Rockstar and Softboy from Sina Grace. So this is a brand new original graphic novel from the writer Sina Grace, a writer and artist, I should say, who worked before on Iceman and Ghost in LA as well. So it's returns to writing and drawing his own comics for the first time in over half a decade to tell a magical, fun and heartwarming story about the power of love and friendship in this romp of a one-shot. So loads of good reviews on that. I don't know an awful lot about it, but I might have to give that a wee go. I do like an original graphic. Next up, we spoke last week about how we were increasing our Epic Collection section. I love saying that 5 times fast. And they've sold really well. People seem to love digging into the mighty Marvel world, if you will. They are getting older stories. You've got stuff here from Stan Lee, from Jack Kirby, from Steve Ditko, from John Romita, from Sal Buscema, from all those great creators, Gene Colan. And they've sold really well in the last week. So we're going to continue to get more and more of these in. So this one is The Mighty Thor. This is To Wake the Mangog. This is volume 4 of Thor. So this is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This covers the volumes released in 1968 to 1970. And it essentially collects Thor number 154 to 174 as well. So lovely, thick, epic collection. They're always printing really good quality paper. And they're always really, really comprehensive. So can't recommend those enough. But as well as epic collections, we of course continue with our omnibuses again. I think people are really responding to the omnibus section, and we're always trying to get as much cool stuff in there as possible. This one is Captain America. This is volume 3. This essentially I got this in off the back of a conversation I was having with Keith in the store last week. I've been reading Captain America by Ed Brubaker recently, which has been absolutely fantastic. And we started talking about the sort of the holes in Captain America's history and where he was at what point, and if he was always in the ice who took over and all this kind of stuff. Well, this covers a lot of that. This is essentially the Steve Englehart and Sal Buscema remake of Captain America, remaking him as the Spirit of a Nation. This is collecting Captain America 149 to 192. So as I say, volume 3 of the Captain America stuff, and if I didn't still have quite a bit of the Ed Brubaker stuff to read, I might actually take that myself, just because of the conversation Keith and I had. Next up we have The Wake. This is from Scott Snyder and Sean Murphy. I mean, that is a powerhouse team right there. This was a release through Vertigo Comics. Should say Matt Hollingsworth in colours as well. Very important, this title. I remember when this came out, I got this in single issue form. I've since got a hardcover of it, but this was essentially Scott Snyder's exploration of we're always obsessed with going to the moon and going to outer space and discovering what's out there, when 80% of the ocean is unexplored. What horrors lie deep in the ocean. Absolutely brilliant book. So it was 10 issues in total. And you had Sean Murphy here before he became Sean Murphy, I suppose, with Batman White Knight and that kind of stuff. Beautiful visuals, brilliantly told story, and it's actually a distinct story of 2 halves as well. But to say any more than that would be to spoil it a little bit. Next up, we have a little run of X titles. So we have 4 new volumes dropping this week. So first of all, we have Wolverine. We're up as far as volume 3 now. So Benjamin Percy continuing with this. Adam Kubert writing, doing the art in this one. I believe Josh Cassara had moved away from Wolverine and was doing a little bit of stuff for X Lives. But that collects issues 14 to 19. You have X-Force from Benjamin Percy up as far as volume 4. Cassara does do a little bit of art in this, but he's not the main artist. You've got Robert Gill. Again, he was starting to work on the 12-issue maxi series, I should say, of X Lives, X Deaths of Wolverine. Then we have volume 4 of Jerry Dugan's Marauders, which collects issues 22 to 27. Matteo Lolly on art. And then we have this one, which is Way of X. This was a 5-issue mini, I believe. I'm not sure if there's any more of this, but this is from Cy Spurrier and Bob Quinn. And this, a lot of people spoke very highly of that one, especially from the X Universe. Another restock was of Flashpoint. Every time we get this in, it just keeps flying back out. This is probably one of DC's best events of the last decade or so. Flashpoint was Jeff Johns, Andy Kubert, all about the Flash going back in time to save his mother, but then what butterfly effect that had on the DC universe. Brilliant series, and a big influence on the upcoming Flash movie, I believe, as well. Continuing on with those epic collections, we have a Fantastic Four volume for you up next. So with this one, I believe it is Fantastic Four 362 to 376. A couple of annuals in there as well, and Adventures of the Thing. This covers the early 90s, from the Innerverse to Infinity War, 92 to 93, and this is volume 22. So it gives you an idea of how many volumes there can be of these epic collections for the longest running characters. Another epic collection is Doctor Strange. We're up as far as volume 5 for this one. So we've Roger Stern and Chris Claremont on this. So again, powerhouse creative team there. So this is volume 5, which covers 1978 to 1982. You've got Doctor Strange 29 to 51, Man-Thing 4, and material from Chamber of Thrills and Defenders in there as well. That's what's great about these as well. They are so comprehensive. It's not just Doctor Strange. So you've got stuff from those other titles that tie in. A little bit of Critical Role Vox Machina Origins for you now. We're on to volume 2 of that from Dark Horse. So the Unlikely Heroes of Vox Machina are back in action. So this is written by Jody Houser, who's been working on Orphan, Black, Stranger Things as well, and first series illustrator Olivia Sampson. So really good creative team on that, and if you like your Critical Role stuff, I hear really good feedback on it. Next up is a lovely hardcover. This was a great story. This was Batman the Imposter. Mattson Tomlin, Andrea Sorrentino. Sorrentino alone would sell that for me because Andrea Sorrentino is one of the best artists around. But the script in this was great from Mattson Tomlin. It was very much about a young Batman. You know, he had, sent away Alfred. Alfred couldn't condone his attempt to be a superhero. Leslie Tompkins is reimagined in this, not very much as an ally to Bruce. It's all about the struggle of is he making the city any better at all. And then there's the reason it's called The Imposter is because another Batman has shown up and he has no problem killing people, which is obviously against everything Bruce stands for. But yeah, it was an oversized 3-issue miniseries, absolutely brilliant, and again, a beautiful looking book. Next up we have Eve. This one is an end of the world tale, but instead of your traditional, last survivor who can restart Earth and all the rest, it's a young girl who is the only survivor. Really good tale. It was 5 issues in total, some gorgeous visuals. It was a writer on this, Victor Laval, who did The Changeling, and the illustrator on this was someone I wasn't overly familiar with, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye for their work. Jo Mi Guillaume, who had worked on The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance as well. Next up we have Excellence. So Excellence is a magic series, urban magic series in the best possible way through Image Comics. Brandon Thomas and Carrie Randolph on this, and this is volume 2, which is covering issues 7 to 12. Great magic series that, and you may see some faces in that you recognize. They're definitely based on the characters, not Michael B. Jordan. Don't care what anybody says. Next up we have Extreme Carnage. So this was an 8 issues of one-shots, I suppose, made up the event. You had Alpha and Omega, but then you had like Scream, Phase, Riot, Lasher, Agony, Toxin. Some really good creators working on this. Phil Kennedy Johnson, Steve Orlando, Manuel Garcia, Chris Mooneyham. A lot of good creators working on that. So that was an 8-issue self-contained little series. This was one I was a big fan of. I do love my AWA stuff, and Fight Girls I thought was great. It was essentially a big tournament book. It was 20 women competing for who would become the wife of the ruler of the galaxy, essentially. Very pulpy, very over the top. It starts off as you would look at it almost as quite sexist the way it starts off, but the way it ends, it couldn't be further from the truth from that. But yeah, really enjoyed that. Beautiful art from Frank Cho. Another AWA Studios one was Not All Robots. This was essentially where robots had taken over the world. I love the tagline for this, which is "Welcome to the future, mankind. Your services are no longer required." This came from Mark Russell and Mike Deodato Jr., so AWA continues to knock those out of the park. Another volume again of Reign of X. We're up as far now as volume 9. So again, it went Dawn of X, then you had X of Swords, then you have Reign of X, and then you have Hellfire Gala in there as well. So this one contains issues from Hellions, Wolverine, New Mutants, Sword, and X Factor as well. A big one for me this week definitely is Snow Angels. This is a new one from Jeff Lemire and Jock. This was a Comixology original, but now it's been in print for the first time. So it's essentially an original graphic novel. It's not, the single issues have never been released in print form. So yeah, Milliken and Maymay have never left the trench. It's all they've ever known. They were born in the trench and they'll die there, just like all their people do. The two girls, 11 and 8, are part of the Trench Folk, a sprawling settlement of people living inside the massive ice walls of a vast, seemingly endless frozen trench carved into the surface of an otherwise icy wasteland. The Trench Folk survive in this hostile world by following the 3 testaments of the trench, golden rules repeated like a mantra from birth to death. The trench provides, you must never leave the trench is endless. Yeah, I mean, that creative team alone, I'm on board for that, but the blurb for it just sounds superb as well. So that's top of my pile this week. And I did say there was a little bit more Star Wars, so we'll finish there. A couple of different volume 1s for Star Wars. So this is the more current stuff from Charles Soule and Jesus Says. The Destiny Path, that covers issues 1 to 6. And then this was a previous run, which was done by Jason Aaron with John Cassidy on art. This is going back, I believe, 2015. And this one was called Skywalker Strikes. So again, plenty of Star Wars stuff in for the Star Wars fans out there, as requested. So yeah, these are all going on the shelves tomorrow for a new comic book day. All be available then, multiple copies of them all. As ever, anything appeals to you, just drop us a message and we'll always get you sorted. But until then, I look forward to seeing you in the store later in the week, guys. Hope you're staying safe out there and take it easy.